Huvuna,
Nyake.
Janet, Kikadoos,
Halito.
Sio,
Madawika.
Kunamante.
Osio.
Guna.
Oh, Yate,
Kikadoos.
Unsti Huntedish.
Mike,
Buenos dias.
Hanipi.
Stongo.
Stongo Shkinyacha. Oh, good morning. Coming live from 1950, South Shepherd. Pretty eventful day, I feel like.
It is.
We got Bridie 12-step training downstairs. We got Andrea Alexander in the house.
Miss AA.
Miss AA.
Anti-AA.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Got a full class, which I think is even cooler.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's a lot of people want this training, but for whatever reason, we just never had a full class.
Right.
So, it's pretty cool.
It is, man. And to see all these people here wanting to learn how they can help others in their journey, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, huge deal. So, Dairy Boy is doing a training himself.
Yeah, pretending to be learning over there.
Yeah. He's struggling.
Yeah.
Be the worst case manager too ever.
But yeah, we got Rezi. You want to say hello, Rezi? No?
Hi.
Wow.
She's
Wow.
all kinds of excited today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sitting in with us. Appreciate you. Meat stick. But yeah, it's we were supposed to go to camp today, but because of the weather,
Yeah.
we got to stay in the office.
Which is odd
Which is odd.
for all of us to be in here.
Yeah. So luckily, Theta, Tatum, Ron, Shayna are downstairs doing the training.
And Mingo just took off.
Mingo just took off to the city, so yeah, he had to go to 10th and Robinson
He had
for
a
what?
big meeting down there, he
yeah,
said.
I don't know. Networking, I guess. So, yeah, thought we'd get this over with.
Yeah.
What else we got going on tomorrow? Pathways to Community Living is having a elders event and caretaker event in Gary. They're calling it movie night, right?
I guess so.
Movie night. They're gonna serve a meal. They're gonna show a movie.
We're doing everything else.
Yeah, we're doing everything else. I think we're making drums.
Yeah, we're doing drums. We're cooking. We're doing the podcast.
Cooking.
I don't know how they would handle it if we weren't around.
Hannah told me a while ago. She said, if you see any elders, let them know. And she said she has 25 prizes to give away.
Wow.
25 drawings for tomorrow.
That's awesome. I wonder if any of them are her cinnamon rolls.
Oh, no, those are worth way more. Can't just give those away. So, but yeah, that's where we'll be at tomorrow in Gary. The event is from 4 to 8, I believe.
Yes.
4 to 8. So, be a long day. But it'll be cool. I like G-Town.
It's all right. Their events are always pretty cool, too. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see because I like getting elders onto the podcast so they can share some of their knowledge about if we decide to have a particular topic. Because I know when I was up in, where was I at?
Hammond.
And I asked them to talk about prayer. It was good insights to hear from them about that. So.
Yeah.
Good ways.
That's cool. Do we have any comments yet? Everybody still asleep?
Yeah, I kept mispronouncing his name yesterday.
Bilal.
But Bilal says Yatahe relatives.
Yate.
Can you be two different people and be strong in your recovery?
I feel like sometimes you got to wear a different mask for different people in different situations. But as long as you like keep your principles the same, like kind of like I kind of think of it as the recovery game. Like you can go to AA, you can go to NA, you can go to Wellbriety. Like the principles stay the same in all those different programs.
Hmm.
Like but yeah, I mean, I can't be who I am with Carmelo as far as like say a client comes in. Like I gotta be too, like I kind of understand who I have to be. So I mean I hope that, that's kind of what I got. Do you wanna go into
The it's pretty much like you said. It's kind of hard to explain a little bit because like your mindset is different
yeah.
whenever you're, and I think it really depends on the environments that you're in. Like for instance, like we know like if we're going into like a conference, and because we've been to conferences that aren't native based, and so sometimes our humor and stuff isn't going to come across as well as it would like at a native conference.
Yeah.
And so we have to have that understanding, and sometimes we forget. And but I think who you are, you don't ever change who you are. I think you just change your mindset to be centered around whatever environment you're in.
Yeah.
And so like Barry knows, like, and myself, like I know I'm different around when I get home around my family and stuff. Like because my girls have it's just a different environment. Like you have to understand, like as a father, you act in a different manner than you do when you're around your coworkers or when you're around. Now I don't change who I am. I just understand that I'm in a different environment, and I have to not and I'm not changing who I am, but I just you just have to understand that they just operate differently. And so I don't know if that really uh you just gotta, it's like Dave just said. He just said the Variety book and Don Cohees teach us about how to be bicultural or how to live in balance.
Yeah.
And it's just learning where that balance is in your life when it comes to different environments you're in. I think that's pretty much how you can get through that process. I'm finished
No, keep going.
now.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave Levi commented, the Wellbriety book and Don Coyas teach us about how to be bicultural, how to live in balance.
For sure.
And Bayale says thank you.
You just keep butchering his name.
Bayal?
Bilal.
Bilal. Oh, my bad. I say it different every
Never
time.
seen.
Yeah, it's
Obviously,
okay.
you've never seen a house party, so.
Yeah, you got it. That's like us. We're not going to correct. We're just going to keep on letting her.
Yeah, I know. We're just letting her keep getting worse.
Just don't comment no more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time remix, he says it's be y'all.
Be y'all.
Y'all.
Well, I was close.
Yeah, you were wrong too.
Remix.
Leslie Short
I like that.
says,
Be
"Good
y'all.
morning, brother Barry.
Good morning, Les.
How are you today?"
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I wake up, grateful every morning. Every morning I wake up grateful. Every morning I wake up, thankful and appreciative of just having the opportunity to have another day. So,
Yeah.
it's hard to get me down, like from the very beginning. Like I woke up this morning, was all happy. I don't know, I was just sitting there thinking like I'd probably get on Natalie's nerves right now if she was awake.
Mm.
Just all chipper.
Not even knowing where you were going.
Not even knowing what's going on.
But but I'm happy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just how I wake up. You know,
Yeah.
I wake up happy every day.
That's good, man. That's a good mindset to start your day with.
You know, like as soon as I wake up, you know, like I'm automatically grateful.
Right.
You know, I'm automatically grateful. You know, and I feel like I start thinking about my gratitude list, you know. But before anything, like as soon as I wake up, because you know, I'm gonna lay there for 5 minutes trying to go back to sleep. I'm gonna test to see if I should go back to sleep or not. But I mean, even then, like I start praying, you know, thank you for another day.
Right.
You know, keep me sober just for today and allow your will and not my own to, you know, to happen in my life today. Sometimes I'll be trying to word it all fancy and it just sounds goofy as hell and it'll like make me laugh, you know, but I think he knows what I mean.
I was praying last night, and I was like, I don't try to be. I just try to have a conversation. And last night I couldn't think, like I was trying to think of the words I wanted to say, and like it wasn't like the words weren't coming to me like they normally do. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, you know what I'm trying to say.
For sure.
I was like, I'm not even gonna try because I'm just gonna screw it up. And it just felt like it was just like I was real stressed, and it just felt like a relief because it was just like, man, I was like, there's no reason
Yeah.
for me to like
He knows your heart.
like for you to just be like, man, like I'm so worried about making sure that this is said right or all this. And it's like, man, if he knows your heart, he knows exactly what you're going to be asking for. He knows exactly what you need, and as long as you're asking, you know, in that right manner and your heart's in the right place, you'll hear. You can't miss his presence. So
Yeah. It was kind of funny yesterday because we had to act like with Tatum that we wasn't having like a little dinner planned
know.
for her after we got done with the live.
he didn't have to be all mean though.
I know, right? Yeah. Like her homegirls were like dissing her. And you know what I mean? Like Rez and Rezzy and Rezzy Desi
It was just
and
Theta.
Theta. Like we all had to play like the role. I'm acting like they all acted like they went to lunch, but they went downstairs and kind of put together a table, you know, set up her cake, her dinner. Natalie did. She made an outstanding meal.
Yeah, she did.
You know, we had birria tacos, beans, rice, you know, enchilada that Isaiah brought, some homemade salsa. So, you know, like
It was
I ate
good,
so
man.
much I didn't have to eat dinner. Like it was so good.
Yeah, when you came back with that third plate, I was like, he's done for.
Yeah.
There ain't
And I
no
finished
way.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had that little bitty part left, and I was like, man, he's gonna finish it anyways.
And I still ate chips.
I know. Man, I need some chips.
Yeah. So, you know, we had a great celebration for her, you know, which, you know, like she deserves the world, you know. She just I really enjoyed Tatum, you know, and I like watching her progress. And so, you know, it was funny though, because she's like trying to throw hints like it's my birthday, you know,
Yeah.
like trying to throw a hint, you know, like,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, oh wow, yeah, okay, you know,
Yeah.
like, are we gonna go? No, you know, like,
And
She
Theta
asked-
asked her, like, Theta, aren't you getting a cake? And Theta was like, no, I just
No.
kind of asked, or no, I just asked what kind of cake you like. And like, it was so funny.
it got awkward.
It did, and I felt bad for Tatum.
She was just like, oh,
That's
you know,
Well,
And
Theta
I
was
was
like,
like-
I asked her. She was like, she asked if I wanted to be on live, and I was like, no, thank you.
No, Theta was like, no, I'm busy. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm doing something like for real. And then just got up. I was like, Theta.
Oh, man.
she needs some better acting skills.
We get outside the office. I was like, Theta, you sounded so rude just now. And she was like,
Did I?
yeah. She's like, "Did I?" I was like, yeah, I could see it on Tatum's face.
It's all.
Yeah.
But once Tatum seen her cake and everything, I was
Yeah.
like, that's why Theta was being rude.
It
She
was
shoulda-
it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she should have known something was up when I was like, I'll take you to get lunch.
Heck
You know?
yeah. I would have known automatically what's going on.
Right.
What's happening?
I'll buy you French
Yeah,
fries.
I'll drive you to
loaded
Sid's.
tater tots.
She
That's
said
what
she
Barry
thought
was saying.
it was just gonna be you and her.
She thought it was just gonna be me and her.
Yeah, she thought all of us bounced out to lunch without her. Like, where did everybody go? Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty
It
cool.
was good.
It worked out great. Worked out perfect, as a matter of fact. So we had a good time. It was nice. It was nice
Yes, it was.
to be able to celebrate those type of milestones. Do we have any more comments, Miss Sue?
Bayal says, "Have you ever prayed in bed and you fell asleep praying?"
Definitely.
All the time. All the time.
I would have to say, my mind races at night. Like I have trouble sleeping, or getting to sleep, not staying asleep, but I have trouble getting to sleep. Man, if I let my mind race, it can go till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like if I let it, like just thinking about nonsense, unnecessary stress, creating situations in my head. Fear, man. Fear's, it was a big part of my addiction. So, being able to recognize when I start getting into that mindset, prayer, man. Like I said, prayer is one of my best tools to use. And it's just something about the calming effect and being able to get outside of my head. Sometimes, I gotta ask God to come into my head, come into my thoughts. Like when I start thinking something that I know is wrong, I'm trying to train myself to say, man, that isn't God's will. And that's hard, because I mean, like it could be a multitude of things, like there's so many ways that my mind can go. And if it's something that I know is wrong, that's what I'm trying to teach myself. Like, man, that isn't God's will. So I mean, I fell asleep praying. I don't know how many, in early recovery, it's like I don't know what's supposed to happen next. Like I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I wasn't getting high and I wasn't getting drunk. So, yeah, I fell asleep plenty of times praying.
Yeah, and it's crazy how those thoughts and things can just burden you down.
Man.
Like, and they worry you, and like
For
you
no
said,
damn
yeah, you
reason.
wake and you're just awake, and but there's something about prayer that can calm you down, and it's just like having one of those, just a conversation with a loved one that will put you at ease. And I I remember the first few times that I had fallen asleep like that, I was just like, oh man, like I didn't mean for that to happen. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen. And then like, but if you're ending your night with prayer and then beginning your day with prayer, like, I mean, it's just part of it. Just makes your life. And I'm not trying to tell everybody exactly how they need to do things, but like it just makes life easier because it makes you grateful for everything that's going on with you, whether it's a trial or whether it's just a bad season you're going through. Um, it just helps calm you because you're not as worried about life and all the things that are going on with it. We're all human. We're all going to go through, crap. We're all going to go through some nonsense in our lives, whether it comes from family or trauma or friends, and people being mean to you, things like that. So it's just like, but prayer can help calm you down, and it helps center you back to thinking like, okay, this is what I need to be focused on. This is where I need to put my faith at. This is where I need to be in order for me to try to become a better person. And having that relationship with God is really helpful in that. And I like I said, I remember falling asleep and I just been like, okay, well that just means that I was a lot that I allowed myself to let all that worry and everything just come off. That way I could actually rest, because there's a difference between falling asleep when you're stressed out and then falling asleep when you're not. And because you actually find good rest whenever that happens. So
Do we have any more comments?
David said, "Good morning."
Don't go,
Mr.
David.
Deer. Yep.
Dave Levi said, "Theta's sober but still rugged. Perfect for the crew."
That's
Yeah,
true.
definitely.
I like that she tries to play it off all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm
It's
not like
funny.
that. Yeah.
Still right. That's hilarious. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it.
all.
Should we go ahead? You have your.
Well, like half of our people that watch us are all sitting downstairs getting trained up.
I know, right?
Yep. You want to read? Well, I'll read, but you ready to do the reading?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Oh.
So we're in the summer meditations still. It is August 12th. This one comes from Audrey Shenandoah Onondaga.
Anandaga.
With one mind, we address our acknowledgement, respect, and gratefulness to all the sacred cycle of life. We, as humans, must remember to be humble and acknowledge the gifts we use so freely in our daily lives. The sacred circle of life, the baby, the youth, the adult, the elder. Let us respect all directions, the four directions of the grandfathers. Let us respect their power. Let us remember we belong to the earth, and the earth does not belong to us. Help us to be respectful to all the gifts you have given to us. O Great Spirit, help me this day to be humble. Let me not attack anything in deed or in my thoughts. Let my thoughts focus on beauty, on the beauty you have created in all things.
I like that.
Yeah, there you go, Mr. Botone.
You know, that prayer. You know, like I would have to say, I was the type of person, I said this yesterday. I used to be a taker. I looked at life and, I picked and chose what I wanted. And it was like for all the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
You know, I learned how to dumb myself down so other people could feel better about themselves when they were around me. I didn't want to, I became a people pleaser. And then while I'm being a people pleaser, I'm also a fault finder. I can see where a person's lacking, whether it was socially, financially, spiritually, I mean, physically, mentally, and I would find a way to either take advantage of that or, like I said, I was a taker. And it seems like when you're in survival mode, you're just running and gunning. You're just trying to figure out how to get through that moment or that day, or how to get from one hit to another. Because like they always say, one hit isn't enough, and 1,000's too many, right? So it was like I'm just running and gunning. I'm just trying to see what I can pick and choose out of life to figure out what suits me, just me, nobody else.
Yeah.
I'm a father of 27 kids, No, I don't have 27 kids, but I have a lot of kids. I got 7 kids. And, like nobody else mattered. I seen the cycle of life happening. Because, when you're in that world, when you're in that addictive world, man, you're watching your friends, you're watching your family, you're watching them suffer, you're watching them go through life like just, some of them just died with no concept of peace, um, and I see, today, at the time I'm thinking, well, that's just how life is. So I'm like it fuels my addictive side more. I'm trying to pick and choose what I want to be in life. I can be funny, like I can be serious, like, and like the people pleaser, that I am, like it wants to do all these different things. I had it like a 10-ring circus going on. I would have to remember these lies that I said over here, so I can, so it makes me feel better, so other people feel better. Like it was just this constant show that I had to put on. Whereas today, um, part of working the 12 steps, part of getting involved in my, recovery community, part of surrounding myself with other alcoholics and addicts that are talking about the solution is I learned how to keep myself whole today. Like that's a huge one for me.
Yeah.
I've learned how to keep myself whole today. And what I mean by that is, I get to be myself. I get to show myself how I truly feel. I get to believe in something greater than myself. I get to understand that there's a solution. You just got to have an open mind and an open heart to be able to accept these things. Because, I tried it my way, and let's just face the facts. Like I was strung out.
Right.
I was strung out. Like that was Barry's best answer. Is that to go put a needle in my arm and make sure I'm drinking vodka, while I'm doing it. And when it comes down to it, and you get to see this side, I know it. I definitely know what the addiction side looks like. And I'm only 4 years and probably about 3 months and a few days, into my healing journey. And when you start teaching yourself how to be grateful, like I always say this, nobody ever says, I am so grateful, but like I am so thankful, but I'm so appreciative, but like that doesn't even make sense, like you're just contradicting what you're supposed to be, like I'm teaching myself these things. So so to be able to keep myself whole, appreciate where the creator has led me, and be thankful for the opportunities that he's allowed in my life, and to learn how to be grateful for everything that I do have. I don't sit here and contemplate what I don't have. I'm not even talking about material things. None of I don't even mean anything money. I'm talking about the things that money can't buy. I'm thinking about my happiness. I'm thinking about the love that I'm able to show to other people. I get to work with alcoholics and addicts, all day long. And it's like like I understand what taking an L is today. Because if you think that you're going to live in a world where you're always winning, then what's the point of growing?
Right.
Like what's the point of growing if you're always going to win? There was no point in me getting sober if I was just going to, if I felt like I was winning all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like I get this opportunity today, and this, I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life. That never stops. I heard this elder say, when you're done learning, you're done living.
Right.
And I heard that in my addiction. It's funny because when I heard it, I was probably like, had my own little take on it that made no sense at all. But in my head, but
Yeah.
like learning to acknowledge and how to be humble, and just show the respect to all of God's creations. It takes practice, like when you come from a world where you only thought about yourself, and then you actually get the opportunity to show, I get to practice what I preach.
Right.
So like it's a very important it's a very, the most important time of my life is right now. And not because there's something special that's going to be happening to me today, it's because I get to live in the present. I get to live in the now. So I mean, I'm gonna always say that, the most important time in my life is right now. And whenever you put things in that perspective, like it just makes me feel better about the things that I'm trying to work on. Perfect by no means, far from perfect,
Right.
kind of a goofball actually. I like to laugh way too much, but at the same time, I get to experience all these emotions, and feeling emotions only makes me human.
Hmm.
But like we were talking about that balance, it's very important in my life today. And I'm aware. I got to be, grateful that I'm even aware today. And just that statement by itself, I mean, that's a huge one for me. That's a big deal to me. So, that's all I got. Mm.
Good, brother. Um, when I read this, I took a. It kind of made me take a glance at where I've come from, because there's a lot of, we came from a life that is centered around selfishness and pride and thinking we know more than we really do. Um, and to be to be humbled once we figure out who we really are and how much we don't know, is it kind of brings about, you know a renewal of yourself and figuring out like who you are as a person. And like you said, as you're taking each day, like it's like a step into learning more knowledge about not just who you are, but just about the world in general. And especially if you had the separation between your culture, you're learning more about that every day. And I think it's just to have gone through that process where pride was such a big focus on our lives, and selfishness was such a big focus on our lives that we didn't even realize it. You know, we took a lot of we did a lot of things in our lives before where we just thought it was just normal. We just thought it was just this is how we operate. And it wasn't until, we kind of hit a rock bottom, or we had that enlightening moment where we realized that, man, we don't know everything. There's still way more we need to learn about life. Grounding yourself in Mother Earth, learning who you are, not just mentally, but figuring out who you are as a spiritual being, and being able to connect to yourself. And prayer goes along with that, and being able to center yourself and finding that balance in your life. But that takes a lot of humility, and that can break people down. That's why the earliest steps are some of the hardest ones to go through, because you're not just finding yourself, you're making your amends, and you're going through this process to where you're figuring out who you are, but you're also learning how many people you hurt through the process. And sometimes that's pretty brutal, but it takes a lot of humility to be able to go through that. And you got to break yourself down of having that selfishness and having that pride that your life was centered on for a long time. And I think that, as you go through that process and you begin to grow, like, I think that's why it's so key for us to start learning so much about, where we've come from and who we are as a people. And that, um, it always comes back up, but like, we're breaking that cycle. We're breaking that generational trauma. We're bringing in generational healing, and it's key to be that first step, especially if you have a family. You can be that first uh, that first line that comes from your family that's going to break that cycle. And sometimes that could be hard, but with that, you're coming through and you're learning more about how to be truly humble and grateful, thankful, and appreciative of everything that you're learning and everything that you've come from. But it also allows you to have the grace and the faith to understand that every day you're given is a blessing. Every day you're given is an opportunity. Every day you're given is a chance to not just improve yourself, but to improve someone else's life at the same time. And it, I read this quote. I just found it. I think today, this morning, it says, "God didn't add another day in your life because you needed it. He added it because someone out there needs you." And I look at that and I applied it to me and my children because, man, I'm still learning how to try to be a good dad. I'm still, and it's sometimes it's hard because there's questions that come up or there's situations that come up because we're all human and we all go through these trials and things in our life where I don't have all the answers and I have to go to God to try to find out what those answers are. And man, there can be really rough days, but you still have to be thankful through those rough days. You still have to find that. You still have to find that gratefulness and be able to go through that. And I think as we've overcome our pride and we've kind of embraced our like a more humble version of ourselves, it helps us to kind of take a step back and be able to apply knowledge that we're learning and realize that there are people out there that are, kind of just like us that want to reach other people and share as much information as we can with them in order that so that they can improve their lives. So those are my words today.
Mado.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Des. Let him have it.
Mm, let me see.
She's-
Just remember to be humble.
Just to read it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I guess what I think of when I read the reading again just now is I mentioned before my grandpa always helping homeless people because he's like, if you have the opportunity peace I get with my prayer.
Oh, we're back.
Will you read Nat's comment again, just in case?
Yeah. Nat says, sometimes I think the prayer is the purge of that fear and makes you calm and then relaxes us enough to get to sleep. It always brings me back to my center. The reminder of my covenant with my creator is the peace I get with my prayer.
I like that.
That was nice.
Thank you for the comment. Do we have any more comments?
Yes, we have a couple more. Stacy Starr says, good morning, fellas.
Good morning,
morning.
Stacy.
Jerry Levi, good morning, fellas.
Good morning, Mr. Levi.
Jerry Fraser.
Ooh.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning,
Morning,
sir. Mr.
sir.
Whitetail.
He said, I commend all of you for a fine job you're doing.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Isaac Rudd says a great word.
Mm.
Oh, oh.
And David said,
Yeah.
no.
No. That's what it said.
It's the
Yeah, that's what he said.
say it.
Melly Mel says from Lawton, Oklahoma, 388 days clean and sober.
Hey, all
Awesome.
right. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you sharing that with us.
Dave says, someone tell them to smile so we can see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, our internet cut out there for a second. But we're back. But I want Resi Desi to go ahead and finish
I forgot.
what
Before
was
she starts,
saying. Yeah.
I gotta run away. So
Well, you said your grandpa always tells you to help homeless people.
good to see
He always
everybody.
tells you that one day that could be you, and that's where it cut off.
Oh, like one day that could be you or someone you love or your brothers or sisters, and he emphasized like, I'm not gonna be here forever, so
Mm.
you gotta help them, because
Yeah,
him and my mom are the main ones helping everybody in our family. So
that's cool.
never judge, and
Yeah, and your grandpa's a chief, right? That's cool. Yeah, like I when I think about today's reading, yeah, like I didn't just share, but I just think about where it says at the end how we take advantage, of the gifts, we're given to us, and that statement rings true for me all the time. I get humbled, with somebody with the big mouth like me, bro. I get humbled all the time, So I'm just glad, for the opportunity, and I appreciate when I see struggle. Whenever I was your age, Desiree, like I thought God hated my guts. Like for some reason I always had it in my head that my life was like a show in heaven. Like that's how I imagined my life. And it was like a comedy special that was going on. And like everybody in heaven is just like laughing at me. Like I don't know why, like I don't understand, I just didn't have no relationship. I didn't have no connection. But let me be, in a bad situation, somebody shooting at me, somebody trying to stab me or something, like I would catch myself praying. I would always catch myself praying. And like it says, it, God only protects babies and fools, like so, yeah, I like today's reading because there's so many different ways that you can take that. So many different directions that you can use it in a positive manner, to have a positive effect in your life. So, do we have any more comments or?
Yes. Teresa Sumka says, good morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning. I believe she's up there in Great Falls,
Oh, cool.
Montana.
And then one last comment, J.M. Botone, Nyaket nephew, Barry Botone, and tour.
Nyakit, auntie. Well, I'm glad everybody was able to tune in. We're gonna have a training here. Well, yeah, we'll have the training here for the next 3 days with the great Andrea Alexander. I'm not sure if you know who that is, but she is huge in the Wellbriety world. So I feel honored that we can. Hopefully, we get to break some bread with her. Break some bread with her. So I'm looking forward to that. Catching up with her. But that's all I really got. So, is there anything you want to say, Des?
No. Have a good day.
Drink water. Yeah.
Yeah, drink your water.
Get your steps in. Well, we will see you tomorrow. So, like, share, follow, tell your mammy about us, and we will see you tomorrow. I hope.
Stop!